Welcome to Odd Bros Sports. Right now, I'm just gonna give my immediate reaction to the UFC 249 fight card, just the main card. Later on this week, I'm gonna make another video just breaking it down with other guys, other experts. But for now, it's just my immediate reaction. Without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome to Odd Bros Sports. I just got finished watching the UFC 249 fight card, and I gotta say, man, that was an outstanding card. I have no complaints to make. So right now, I'm just gonna go over the main card. I don't want to get too much into the prelims. I just want to go straight into the main card. So first, I want to talk about the dynamic that not having any kind of audience had, and it's it was different because even Greg Hardy was talking about it. He could hear DC in the background. It's like, oh, he needs to start checking those leg kicks, and he tried to make that adjustment. So just that kind of thing. I just wanted to touch on that first. So without further ado, let's get into it. So our first fight. Greg Hardy versus De Castro. I can't really say his first name, so I don't wanna mess that up. Castro had the leg kicks early, right? And then Hardy started to adjust. He started using his jab more. You could see, right, the difference in size, and not just like in the height. I'm talking about Castro kind of looked thicker, a lot. I don't want to say fat, but he didn't look the most well conditioned. And Hardy, being a professional athlete, going back to his days in the NFL, he looked more conditioned, and the athleticism it was apparent early on. And then Hardy just had a very nice jab. His boxing was good, right? Castro he was more technical, right? His punches were more clean, but he just wasn't active enough. And then obviously I want to say Castro's cardio started to give up on him because he was just really, really inactive going to the second and third round. And at one point in the third round, he slipped. And he just lied down on the ground, and Hardy's all right. You just start kicking him, and Herb was Castro, do your thing, get up or whatever. Yeah, so Hardy ended up winning the fight. And yeah, going into the fight 2. Jeremy Stephens versus Cater. And I'm that was a good fight. So round 1, Jeremy Stephens is like a bat out of hell. He came out ready. He had a good warm-up, as they were saying in the fight. He came ready to fight. He was throwing leg kicks. His offense was very varied. Going to the head, going to the body, going to the leg. Just had a very varied offense. And then the second round, before I get too far ahead of myself, even in the first round, Cater showed he had good boxing skills. His right straight, he landed a very, very, very beautiful right straight. And but he wasn't really checking the leg kicks the way that we were seeing leg kicks getting checked. He would drive his foot into the mat. And then going into round 2, Cater started to find his range. He started letting the combinations flow, and he started to get to Stephens. They started exchanging, and then he landed the elbow, and then that's it. He dropped him. He floated him on the ground. That was that. Going into the third fight now, Francis Ngannou versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. It was over before it even started. 20 seconds in, they touched gloves. They looked around each other, felt each other out. And I guess Ngannou thought, I can get this guy out of here if I just rush him, right? So he went at him. He rushed him. And that, he missed, the first 3 or 4 punches in that rush. And then he landed the left hook. And he just knocked him out right there. He was out before he hit the canvas. And he just flurried him. Herb Dean stopped the fight. The the referee got on the win. That was that. And now we get into our main card, our co-main event and our main event. So Dominic Cruz and Henry Cejudo. I'm gonna be honest right now. We had an earlier episode of our podcast. We were saying that Dominic Cruz was gonna win, and I can't go back on that say I didn't say he was gonna win or anything. I have to be honest. It was said on my podcast, and I agreed with it, so I can't lie. So going to the fight, we thought that Dominic Cruz's movement was gonna play a big factor in this. We thought Cejudo, I didn't think Cejudo was gonna be able to take him down. Neither did Patrick or Stevie, right? Or even if he did, he'd be able to get back up. And Dominic Cruz did show early in the first round. When he did get taken down, he was able to get back up from the scramble. But yeah, in the first round, Henry made it evident that one of his main game plans going into this was leg kicks. He was attacking the front leg of Cruz, and it wasn't just attacking with leg kicks. No, he was throwing hard leg kicks. And yeah, he would wrestle him. Dominic Cruz did get up quickly, but still, he was trying to let him, Henry was trying to let Dominic Cruz know, he's yeah, I'm here, I'm the champ, and I'm not going to let this belt go anywhere. And then going into round 2, I think Dominic Cruz, he started to adjust more. His movement looked better. He was throwing a jab off of his movement. and he was just making it really awkward from early on. But the leg kicks were still there, and yeah, like Cruz, I guess he was finding it harder to deal with them, right? Given that he's had injuries on his legs, and Cejudo was really trying to attack them. And there was a bit of back and forth. A headbutt opened up a cut on Cejudo's hairline, but it didn't make a difference because as soon as they like ended that little doctor checkup, he just went at him. Cruz went at him, landed a knee when I think Dominic Cruz was trying to change levels. He landed a knee. He dropped Dominic Cruz, hit him with 11 unanswered shots. Like, Dominic Cruz was trying to get up, but like just the amount of punches that he took unanswered, I guess Herb Dean thought like, no, I can't let this go on anymore, and he ended the fight. And then something more interesting about that was the fight ends, and then Henry Cejudo's like, yeah, like I'm the greatest combat athlete of all time, and I'm 33, I'm still young, I have a daughter, and before I take any more punishment, I'm gonna retire. So I mean, he announces retirement. Like, I don't know how serious about it he is. I don't want to say he's the greatest combat athlete of all time, but that's a very subjective thing. I don't know. He says his resume speaks for itself. Like, yes, he does have a gold medal. In the UFC, though, there are a lot of other people that can make that claim to have a better resume than he does. But, you know, I don't want to get into that too much. That could be a video for another day if the viewers want that. But, yeah. Now, the main event. Also, okay, on this podcast, it was said that Justin Gaethje can win if it's in the early rounds of the fight. And that if it went into the later rounds, that Tony would beat him. But I don't think anybody expected this outcome, the way that it ended, the way the whole fight played out, actually. So, in the first round, they were exchanging and heavy shots on both sides. Going into the second round, though, in between, so Justin's corner starts talking. He's like, no, start timing your shots, right? Don't be so wild, right? Take a bit off, like take 10% off of those shots. So then going to the second round, Gaethje made that bit of an adjustment. So early on in the fight, he was landing a lot of heavy shots, as he did in the first round. But I guess Tony wasn't landing as much back, and this is where things started to really make a shift. Well, this is the beginning of it, at least. So he's landing now. Gaethje's landing low kicks. He's landing his punches to the head, punches to the body, and then around the 1:20 mark, Tony had like this little spurt, and I thought like, oh, Tony's about to do something now, right? He's about to make a change, but no, it wasn't like that much. It was just for that little 1:20, like just that little 10-second area. He made his little spurt or whatever, and Justin started to come back, and then a beautiful, beautiful counter by Tony on Justin. So Justin telegraphed his uppercut, started a bit wide. Tony seen it. He trimmed the fat off his punch, landed his own uppercut that dropped Justin at the end of the round. Had it been like 30 seconds earlier, we could have had a different outcome to this fight, but that's neither here nor there. Going to the third round, Justin with the hands. He was just moving around. He wasn't like, it wasn't the level of movement that we've seen from other guys like Dominic Cruz, but it was just really, really efficient. Like a Bernard Hopkins, he would just move like just out of range where you would just like barely just touch his chest or something like that. He showed really good head movement, and he was catching punches on his hands, right? He was blocking with his hands. So, I mean, like, you can see the adjustments that he's made throughout his career, and you have to give a lot of credit to his coach. Stevie Renfro, one of our analysts before, said the same thing. His coach is outstanding. They're going to make adjustments. So, I have to shout him out. Thank you, Stevie, for making that point. And, you know, we've seen it now. And continue with what I was saying, like, and he was timing his shots beautifully in that round. Like, you would see a chance for the right hand. He dropped the right hand. Perfect. And I got to give props to Tony. He has a chin on him. He was taking punishment. Like, it was kind of like the fight with Johanna and Wei Ling. Like, there are not any other people in that weight class that could have taken those kind of shots. As many shots as Tony took today. There's no people in that weight class that can take that much punishment. So then now, going to the fourth round, we can see that Tony's beginning to fade. Like, his activity levels dropped. And it's not like he stopped fighting really, but now he's not really mounting any effective offense. He threw like a spinning back leg kick to the head that missed. He was throwing punches at Justin's thigh. He wasn't really checking his leg. He was checking the leg kicks, but his checks weren't effective. And Justin was just, his defense was on point. He was like, it was said earlier by Patrick, like, yeah, he's a walking fortress, and his defense was a fortress. He was just blocking, checking the leg kicks, and he was just really making Tony's offense, which until this point has been amazing, ineffectual. So in the fourth round, same thing. Tony's chin was amazing, but then Justin caught him clean, made him do the chicken dance. Looked like Chicken Little. The sky was falling on him. But I don't know. I guess Justin thought, like, no, I gotta be more patient, right? I've been caught in this situation before. I empty my tank and I get stopped. So he was patient. He didn't go at him. The round ends, and even his coach is like, "Hey, man, don't get too confident. And you think you're ahead, that's when you get stopped." And the one thing I really respect about Justin, he's like, "No, I got stopped twice." So he realized that. So then going to the final round, he didn't go all balls to the wall. All hell didn't break loose. No, he continued with the game plan. He stayed with the game plan. So he went at him, same thing, chopping the legs, and even buckled him once beautifully. And then Tony went for an Imanari roll, and it was just like too little, too late. Like, I don't know, he didn't show that urgency that he should have earlier in the fight, and maybe thought like, oh, Justin's gonna fade, but Justin didn't, and he really fought the perfect fight against Tony. Like, he landed power shots, he landed leg kicks, he made Tony's offense ineffectual. Like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't like he came out this fight with no scratches, but compared to other guys that have fought Tony, he looked like Floyd Mayweather out there. And then after that, Tony's face was bloody, eyes swollen, eyes cut, bleeding from the nose. He's continuing to blow out of his nose. It didn't make it any better for him. And then I think maybe his nose might have even gotten broken, because Justin landed a shot on his nose, and Tony just turned around, shook his head, and then Herb is like, "That's it, it's over. Like, I can't let you go on anymore." It's kind of similar to when Robbie Lawler fought Rory McDonald the second time. When Robbie Lawler landed that jab on his nose, that was it. Roy McDonald just couldn't take it anymore. And it wasn't on the same caliber as that, but it was kind of similar. I don't want to say Tony quit on the fight, but he wasn't showing what he needs to show. He didn't show that level of urgency that you need, especially going to the championship rounds, knowing you're down. It wasn't like, oh, this is a close fight. It could be anyone's, and maybe if I just get these 2 rounds, I can coast. Like, no. You were down on the cards, 3 rounds to 0. So you need to get a knockout now. Or you need to drop this guy a lot of times, get like a 10-8 round. And he just didn't show that level of urgency. And one thing that I think about is earlier, before the fight, the original card got canceled, he's like, "Oh, I'm still going to make the weight cut anyways." And maybe that could have drained him, right, for this weight cut. Or maybe it could have helped him make the weight, but still, right? Who knows? There could be more excuses coming out. But yeah, it was a really good fight, really good card. And now going forward, I just really want to see what's going to happen now. I do believe that Greg Hardy's going to move up in the rankings. I do believe that Francis Ngannou is probably going to be next in line for the DC fight after DC and Stipe have their 3rd fight. Or who knows, maybe if John Jones does decide to come up to heavyweight, who knows, maybe those two could end up fighting each other. Henry retired, so he's not going to go any further with that. Dominic Cruz, who knows where he goes from this. If he still wants to continue fighting, he could maybe make another run at the belt, especially now that Henry Cejudo's retired. So who else in the division can beat him? But even then, I don't know what De Castro's going to do after this. He took a loss. They were saying during the fight that, yeah, this guy's fought at light heavyweight. And given his size, like stature-wise, if he did make the cut down to light heavyweight, he would be a problem because now the strength that he's bringing with him. But yeah, all in all, that was an amazing fight. I don't see what Tony Ferguson's going to do after this now. He really has to go back and just like reevaluate, like, what do I want to do going forward? He's lost to Justin now, and I don't believe that that Dana White is ever gonna want to make the fight with him and Khabib ever again, just because, like, we have to now admit this, like, the fight is cursed. The fight is cursed. 6 times it's been scheduled, 6 times it's been canceled. So we have to accept the fact, like, yes, this fight is cursed. Jairzinho Rozenstruik took a loss, first loss of his career. He was 10-0. And it wasn't just like a loss. 20 seconds in, it's going to be hard. Let's see what he does after this. He'll probably take another 2-0 fight, work his way back up into the top 10 of the division. And who knows, maybe try to make another run. But I don't see him beating. Francis if they do fight again. So I don't know. Even Francis said like he needs to go back and really work, like think a lot about himself, work on some stuff. But yeah, that was my immediate reaction. I'm gonna get some more guys later on this week, and we're gonna talk about the fight again. Thank you very much. We're out. Thank you for listening to Odd Bro Sports Podcast. You can find us anywhere you do get your podcasts. Anywhere. Also, if you'd like to be on the podcast, just DM us on Instagram. You can find us at oddbrospodcast. If you have any questions, you can find our business emails on our page. And that's all. Thank you very much. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and let us know what kind of content you want.